Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana increases policy rate to 30% from 29.5%. This has surprised financial markets as cost of borrowing is lifted a record high to accelerate the taming of inflation. Also, Governor of the Bank of Ghana expresses worry over a trend where large volumes of foreign currencies are kept in the homes. These and more coming up shortly. Good evening and welcome to Business Brief here on TV3. My name is Michael Obodu. Let's bring you summaries of some other business stories that have been making the headlines today.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has indicated that a lot of the banks in Ghana are complying with the directive on the armored bullion van. Answering questions at the 113th Monetary Policy Committee press conference in Accra, Dr. Addison indicated that the Bank of Ghana does not expect to hear cases of fatal robbery attacks on bullion vans going forward. Government announces a new domestic debt exchange program for US dollar-denominated domestic bonds. The Ministry of Finance said government is targeting $809 million denominated domestic notes and bonds. Twitter has changed its brand and logo from its famous blue bird to X. The new white X on a black background has replaced the blue bird on the desktop version of the social network, although it is yet to appear on the mobile app.
Thank you for staying with us. Straight into our first story now. As economist, Professor Lord Mensah has indicated that the central bank must review its approach in tackling inflation in the country, as the current strategy of the hiking policy rate has failed in checking the phenomenon.
If it turns up that you've increased policy rate by 50 basis points, and government is also looking out for revenue enhancement through the IMF program. So as a result of that, increases taxes, or possibly introduce new taxes. That is going to affect prices as well. So while the policy rate is trying to arrest inflation or to bring it down, the taxes are going to pass through increasing prices to the market. So there's going to be that kind of a stalemate, in our, economic policies. That is why I'm saying that the policy rate alone cannot, serve its purpose of controlling prices if it does not consider, the activities on the fiscal side. So from where I sit, I believe that the 50% or the 50 basis point is more powerful or more weightier in terms of bringing price down than introduction of taxes or repackaging of taxes that we're going to witness in the mid-year budget review.
Meanwhile, some economists have observed that the Bank of Ghana is using the wrong tools in managing the country's soaring price levels.
Director of Business Operations at Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, thinks Ghana's inflation is not expected to ease anytime soon.
This is Ghana. Rates have been persistently high. Our businesses are not driven by borrowing from the financial institutions. So monetary policy is not working. And so how we, in the short term, we're not fighting inflation the right way.
Director of Research at the Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, Dr. John Kwache, suggests the use of monetary and fiscal policies in managing inflation.
We rely on monetary policy framework that essentially focuses on controlling demand pressures in the economy. But what we have come to realize is that our inflation is also determined to a large extent by supply and cost factors. We've been talking about food, importance of fuel in driving our inflation, transportation, and then of course the exchange rate. So you cannot use the Bank of Ghana policy rate alone.
Besides the fiscal and monetary policies, an economist, Dr. Abuaji Debra, says an effective approach in managing inflation in Ghana is to add other stakeholders like ministries of agriculture, trade and industry, and transport, making inflation as part of their KPIs. He calls for the inflation targeting approach to be abandoned.
Current upward trend now, which is driven by food, where Ministry of Agric should be seen as an accountable source, because food accounts in terms of the CPI significant, and therefore in terms of KPIs, Ministry of Agric should be tasked And that is where some of us, when we saw Plan for Food and Jobs, we thought there was the need to have that in terms of KPI.
Now, the average lending rate fell to 31.5% in June 2023 from a high of 35.8% in January 2023. This is equivalent to an average of 2.62% per month on loans charged by the banks. The following Business Desk report has more.
According to the data from the Bank of Ghana, the average lending rate began easing in April 2023 as it dropped to 31.6%. This is surprising because inflation remains high at 42.3%. In January 2023, average lending rate stood at 35.85% and it went up to 36.64% in February 2023, but fell to 35.87% in March 2023. It fell again sharply to 31.66% in April and 30.94% in May 2023, but rose slightly to 31.5% in June. The dip in lending rates may be due to the fact that the banks are diversifying their assets following the impact of the domestic debt exchange program with a focus on lending, which is their core business.
Now, ahead of the mid-year budget review, the Ghana Hotels Association is calling on the government to improve the economic situation in the country. According to the president of the association, Dr. Edward Akanyamike, this is crucial to ensuring businesses in the hospitality sector remain profitable. He spoke to the media on the sidelines of his outfit's third NEC meeting in Accra.
The country is becoming more and more attractive. We have the December in GH and several other programs which is bringing in people. So those activities will certainly tell on the numbers of people coming to the system. Now, when they come in, and that is where some of the challenges come in, because then the hotels are hosting them, we have high taxes, we have high utility costs, water. Now, electricity and water is what's the right word? It's adjusted every quarter. And it keeps going high, okay? So all those things together with the high lending rates and then the cost of doing business in general, our workers are expecting more salaries because the environment itself is harsh and all that. So that one too is another aspect which affects our business. And what it means that, so we may be bringing in the numbers to tell on the number of visitors that are coming. However, when we do the actual business mathematics, you see that your profit margin is very small, or you may not even make profit, and that will affect the business moving forward.
Government has been admonished to resist the temptation on introducing any new tax within the energy sector during the mid-year budget presentation in Parliament. According to energy strategist and Chief Executive Officer of Eureka, Dr. Yusuf Sulemana, any such move by governments will slow consumer spending and impede economic recovery.
So, as much as I don't expect taxes to be removed, that would have been my preference. I also expect that there shouldn't be any new taxes at this moment in time, especially with respect to the energy sector. I mean, the price build-up should be as it is. If there's anything that we need to do, we should be thinking about removing taxes, but not to increase more taxes. So yes, we should be aware of this. I'm saying that because a budget should be able to give assurances, like I mentioned, of potential economic growth or propellant. It should be able to propel economic growth. And so if cost of energy becomes very expensive, as a result of too many taxes on energy bills, it does impede economic growth. So if there are two quick areas that I want the budget to address, I think these are the areas that I wish that the budget look at.
Let's now turn our attention to the international market to find out how major commodities are faring. The price of cocoa is up by 0.2%. It's trading at $3,422 per ton. The price of gold is down by 0.1%, trading just about $1,960 per ounce. The price of crude oil is up by 2.37%, trading at almost $79 per barrel. Well, that will be all for Business Brief here on TV3. For more business stories, please visit our website, 3news.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for watching. As always, please stay safe.